You are now listening to Carlie's Couch.
I'm Carlie.
And I'm Lex.
In this podcast, we discuss a wide array of topics about life and how to live your best life.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Hope y'all enjoy. This week on Carlie's Couch, we're discussing doing things for your haters or proving people wrong. Is it okay? Is it something we should work on?
They see me rolling, they hating. We love talking about some haters, don't we? We love a hater. I don't. People love giving attention to haters.
They sure do.
Why are you worried about them? Let them hate. Anyway, that's what this episode's about. Thanks, Carlie.
It is. So how you doing today, Lexi?
I'm tired. I feel great. I ran a half marathon last night. Well, a week ago now from y'all hearing this. Man, I was struggling. Whew. But I learned a lot of good lessons this time. And I'm glad I struggled because I was like, oh, okay. There's different things I need to think about with different races. And I got a lot of notes so that I will. Well, I said I was never gonna do it again, but so that I could prep for the next.
She's already signing up. She might have did it yesterday.
Yeah, but my toes are busted. I got blisters under my toenail. I just grew them back. For some reason, when I run, I mean a lot of runners have this, but just I don't know, the pressure on my toenails sometimes they're so weak, they just be falling off. And I just grew mine back. I ain't been in the nail shop in 7 months because I was like, let me just come back when I can give you something to work with. Because they was tired of doing all the extra plaster and stuff. I said, you know what, I'm gonna come back later. But now bad timing. Summer's coming up. I got trips coming up and stuff. It is what it is.
Sound like your toenails are some haters.
Yeah. But also my muscles. It was so funny because my friends who were watching the race too, they live right there off of the course. And so afterwards, I just walked back to their house. And I came in. They were like, sit down. And they pulled out a chair in the garage. And they lifted my feet up on a cooler. And I felt like they were taking care of me. And I was trying to take off my shoes. I was like, please help me. It's just you literally can't really move. And then I tried to take a shoe off and my whole leg was just spazzing. And I was just ugh. But anyway, it was great. Yeah, it was trash, but whatever. But it's done.
I think I looked it up. It was 18,000 people ran.
It was a lot of people. It was so many people. I was walking home and there's people still walking and still on the thing. And they were like, you're going the wrong way. I was like, I'm going to the house. Good luck, though.
I'm out.
Good luck on the last 3 miles. Y'all got it. Y'all almost there. On my way walking back to my friend's house, too, somebody was like, Lex. And I was like, oh, hey, girl. I don't know who that was. Shout out to you, though. But it was cool. Carlie came and supported me. She surprised me because I just heard my name and I didn't know what was what. But what I did do, because in the place where they had concentrated people, I was like, all right, let me tighten up in case one of my friends is around here. So she didn't catch me lagging too bad, but that was at a rough space at that point. But shout out to everybody who came and supported me. I appreciated it so much. Thank you, Carlie. Because it does make a difference when you see your friends and if they care, and the random guy she was with. She always was some random guy.
That sounds so crazy. So
she always was some random guy.
I was walking over to the spectator zone, being a good friend, not a hater.
It's like a glitter mall.
Not being a hater.
I didn't get it.
You did get that? I got it. So anyways, I was walking over not being a hater, and I saw a guy with the Nike After Dark sign. And I was like, oh, you're going to the zone? He was like, yeah. I was like, who's running? He was like, oh, my girlfriend. And he was like, it's her first one. She's really nervous. And I was like, oh, that's cool. My friend. It's her second. And I was like, I think she going to kill it. And so we were talking, and we just ended up walking over together and standing because he had told her that's where he was going to be too.
He was by himself too?
Yeah, he was by himself. And so we were just standing there, and I was like, and he's like, what's your friend's name? I was like, Lexi.
He was hype. He was cheering. But it's kind of fun cheering, I guess, because also with my friend Damo and his whole family, he has 2 kids and his wife, and they came outside, and the little kids was outside like, go Lexi. I know they didn't see me when I ran past them, but it was just really cute how people would just be out there and cheer for random people and each other.
Community was crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. But also what was cool too is so I was in the B group. I think it went maybe to E. I was in the B group, and literally we were at between 4 and 5 miles, and already a couple people started coming back. I was like, woo, they were going crazy.
She was beasting.
She had her own videographer.
It was 4 that were significantly in front of the pack, but she was I would say 10 minutes before almost 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, she was at 10 when we were at like 5.
Yeah.
So it was a few people, but it was cool. Anyway, I said that to say like they were coming by and everybody on our side was like, yeah, go. And like everybody was cheering each other on. So that was cute. I didn't do too much of that because I was on my own struggle bus. But when I was done and walking home, I was like, you guys got it. I said that a couple times. But yeah, shout out to everybody who participated. Walking, running 13 miles is crazy. So yeah, you did it. It was cool.
I'm still on this random guy. Thomas is the only random guy that's always around.
You always, it's like, yes. It's always like you're with a guy somewhere who's like your friend or they're random to me. And it'd be like, who is that? Oh, that's the person in the nonprofit, or this person or whatever.
That's fair.
It'd always be some random guy. So I'm like, I don't know who she brought this time, but
I'm like, that sounds so crazy.
I don't know who she brought. But shout out to him for keeping it hype.
And you know what's funny is this Latino dude named Charlie. And I was like, hey, it was so nice to cheer with you today. What's your name? He's like, Charlie. I was like, oh, Carlie. This is great.
Not Charlie and Carly.
I was like, go Jocelyn. That was his girlfriend's name. Go girl.
Did you see her?
No. We were waiting between, you could see mile 3.5 and then mile 9 behind you. So in front of you. So we couldn't see you. I caught you on my video, little sneak pass. We couldn't see her. He had a big old sign on her face and we couldn't see her.
You gotta yell.
And then she was going real, not I'm not gonna say she was slow, but she was slower. And so by the time I already saw you, I wasn't waiting on nobody else at that 10 mile, baby. I'm out. I was like, Charlie, it's been real. Good luck to Jocelyn. I hope she killed it. If y'all ever find this, y'all were great.
Yeah, they acted like, they had those big concentrated spaces, but there really ended up being people along the road and stuff. Yeah, so that's where it's like I could really see people. Like I saw them because they were just right in front of their house, and I was like, bet, where I knew where I was at.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where anybody else would be. So, and then randomly, my other friend LaShawn just randomly ran out of a restaurant at like mile 11, and I was just like, oh. And later I found out like they were eating dinner because they were trying to catch me like on the way back, and they were hungry, so they had walked somewhere to eat. And then they said, LaShawn looked at my location, was like, oh, shoot, guys, she's already on the way back. And they said, she left her ceviche for you. She ran out. And I was just like, where did you come from? But it was nice. They lived close. Went over there afterwards. They treated me like a king. We hung out. And then we did the verses with playing songs and stuff in the garage and just hung out till like midnight, basically. So that was my Saturday night.
That's such a great night.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And it was good that it was Saturday because now today – that we're recording this, I got to like relax.
Exactly, and we're gonna get done
outside
with
of podcasting
pretty quickly. As I say, outside of podcasting. Okay,
but hold on, can I connect this to
the
topic? So interestingly enough, it connects to the topic too because my running coach, he is one of the captains for Atlanta Running Club, and he was like, oh yeah, we got like 12 girls that came in for this, and he was like, you should connect with one of them. I told her about you. Connect with her and see if you can meet with her out there. And maybe she could pace with you. He was saying all that stuff where I was like, all right, I'll hit her up, but all right. So I hit her up like before the race and was like, hey, Tunde told me to reach out to you. I'll hit you when I'm out there. I'll try to be out there like 5-ish. I got to Coral like right before the thing started. And she said something like, okay, and I'm running with my friend too, so I'm sure we'll find somebody you could pace with. And when she said that, I said, I'm good, never mind.
And I'm out.
Then in my mind, I was like, say less. Let me get in front of you on this joint, which I did not, by no means, probably. But that triggered me to be like, bitch, like, all right. I was like, I'll be right behind you. Like, I'm gonna see y'all. But then I ended up not even hitting her up anyway because when I got there was 10 zillion people everywhere, and I was there last minute. But I felt triggered. We talked about like mirrors and all this stuff recently too. It kind of triggered me to be like, oh, so you saying like I can't do X, Y, Z, or I can't keep up, or I'm not in the same pace as y'all, or whatever. And my first reaction was, okay, bet, say less. I'm gonna prove you wrong. So I just recently had experience with this topic.
Yeah, and that goes right into it. So I think I heard a discussion or something, and somebody said something to the fact of like doing things for your haters is actually another form of people pleasing. The definition of people pleasing is a person who has a strong desire to please others, often to the point of disregarding their own needs and feelings.
Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to prove haters wrong, how would you say that's disregarding your needs and feelings?
Because if you're in my head, if
you're not prioritizing them,
exactly, because you're prioritizing proving somebody wrong more than you are things that align with you. Like you're driven by this hate to do like something that somebody says you can't, versus like why you want to do something because you want to do the thing. It's like now you're driven by I have to prove you wrong instead of like I want to do this thing.
I'm trying to think of who it is. I want to say it might have been Gary V. One of those like kind of entrepreneur business guys. I think it was him. But somebody was talking before about how like, oh, they love like being motivated by hate and like they're like really fuels them. And basically like they were saying it's not necessarily a bad thing to let that fuel you. So I know that there's some like uber successful people who can have that power of like taking in, letting that do it. And is that still a bad thing though? Or is it wrong to be to prove the haters wrong?
I think there's a line because like to prove people wrong or to prove the haters wrong. Like, and I think about whenever I told people in engineering that I worked with that I was going to go to business school. Oh, that's really hard. Who's going to pay for that? So someone else going to become a trainer. Oh, wow, that's hard. Bitch, I have a whole engineering degree and becoming a trainer is hard. Like, okay. Like, and so I noticed all these little things in my head. And so I think there's a difference between using naysayers as fuel. Because if you think about, I think it was Jordan who said that he would envision people on the other team being like, Michael Jordan sucks. He's the worst player. Man, he think he MJ, I'm the greatest. They Nike need to have my shoes. It need to be the Air Carpios or whatever. Like all these things, like he would trick himself into thinking that people were talking about him because it makes him go out there and play like ferociously. And I think that like,
so that's like not the same as proving them.
Exactly. So he's using that hate as a fuel. And I think about like when I'm exercising, like I think about like proving myself wrong and like just proving I can do something when I'm struggling or having a hard time. I think like finishing a workout that I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish these sprints, like doing these things. But I think it's a difference between using it as fuel and letting it being your guiding star, because like MJ, like Kobe, I even think Kobe might have did something similar, but like they wanted to be the greatest. That was their star. They used the hate to help fuel their dream. And I think that might be the difference in between like it being it being a motivational thing and then it being something where you're not in alignment and you're off track.
So then going back to wanting to prove people wrong or prove the haters wrong, is that a bad thing for that to be your motivation?
If it's your only motivation, I think so.
Does it matter though if that's like the journey and then you still accomplish something though, you know?
But is it what you wanted to do, or is it just because you wanted to prove them wrong? Like they told me I couldn't be a doctor, so I became a doctor, but the whole time you wanted to be a musician.
Yeah, but what if you did want to be a doctor and like they said you couldn't do it and you did it?
Well then, yeah,
and you did it. I see what you're saying though, because then also like I was already doing this anyway. But I think that still can accompany proving people wrong, and because you want to do the thing anyway. Whatever you're doing, people are hating on. Hopefully, you already wanted to do it. But then if they're talking bad about you, whatever, it's like, well, are you gonna quit? Or are you gonna prove them wrong? But because I believe in myself, I'm gonna keep going. But then like maybe where it gets off is like also making it like opportunities where you're giving them attention, wasting your energy on people who are not wishing well for you.
Yeah, and so I'll give another example like of a person who I would consider great. So Beyonce. So when I realized that no matter how great she is, people still hate on her. It's like, bro, you just gonna have to get used to people talking shit about whatever it is that you do. Because with the level of intentionality and greatness that she approaches stuff, she still gets talked about, and it just is what it is. But she still does things her way. I saw somebody saying, well, she just need to go back to R&B and doing this. She could and do another R&B album. But like, if that's not what she really wanted to do, why waste the time and the attention and like focus on what other people do? Like, why let them direct your art or direct you? And I think that's really what I keep coming back to when I think about like, is this like, what's the issue with trying to prove your haters wrong? Like, oh, I can't too do another R&B album. Like, all right.
Period. Come on, Beyonce's attorney, solicitor. The fact that I even feel some kind of way to be like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, really, I think reflects that I agree with you. Ooh. or that, oh, there's something in that. When we are triggered by certain things, I think that reveals that actually you believe that. But because, for example, let's say if I post a picture and somebody's like, or I say I'm going to do something, somebody's like, you ain't never going to do that. like I'm already doing it. I already know I'm, or they be like, oh, you think you're all that or whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay. Like only if I actually kind of believe that, do you get like offended. If somebody's like, oh, you think you're cute. And it's like, okay. Like, when people say certain things and it rubs off you and doesn't bother you because it's nothing real. Mm-hmm. That's like if somebody walked by and was like, said you were purple, you'd be like, I don't care. One time somebody on something was like, oh, your picture looks like a man. And I was like, okay, like, no, it doesn't. Like, you're just saying stuff. Now, if somebody has said that to me and that was a thing, or I didn't feel confident or whatever, then it might be like, oh man, do I need to do something? Like, and maybe I need to stop wearing my hair back, or, you know what I mean? So you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think that's a big negative thing about this. And another drain on your energy and on your mindset is that if you are working hard to prove haters wrong, you actually really are trying to prove yourself wrong too. So why not reframe that to focus it just on you and you?
Yeah, I love that. And I also think about for artists or people who are putting anything out, like people are going to have mad opinions about stuff. But I think the goal should be you liking what you do and then feeling comfortable enough to release a thing. And that is the job done. Mm-hmm. It's not people's receptions because you can never control that. And who cares anyways if you really enjoy what you did.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too is that if it is, I guess, a validation thing, because if you need to prove other people wrong and it's not enough for you to do the thing for yourself, then you are still looking for something from people. And it's like, how can I address that for myself? Why am I not enough to say I'm doing this thing or I did a good job or, whatever it is that they're hating on, that you need to show also? Because like, why do you care? Why is their opinion way more than yours? Like, I think those are the things that you can really ask yourself if you find yourself being riled up by haters or feeling like you need to say something back or prove them wrong or come back around and say, hey, see, I got this award or whatever. It's like, okay, but like also now what? Like,
yeah, I think the need to prove anything, even right. Like I have to prove that I'm good enough. I have to show these things to prove that I'm good at what I do, or I have to do this. Like it all comes from that validation. And so I challenge you whenever you feel the need to post to prove anything or to tell somebody, well, I actually went to Harvard and I did this. Well, I didn't, but like if you did, you feel like you have to assert yourself in this way to prove something, like checking in with yourself and figuring out, on a deeper level, why do you feel like you have to prove this thing or feel the need to prove yourself? Because I think that like that happens. Like you want to prove like at work that you're a good worker, that you're competent, that you can lead people. Like you want to prove that you're good at X, Y, and Z, but it becomes pervasive and starts to lead our lives whenever we're not aware, and it's like unchecked. Because then you're literally living your life at the whims of how people tell you are.
Mm-hmm. So you would say that you don't really have any times you feel like you were intentionally trying to like prove people wrong?
No,
I don't think there's not been like a very high up there motivation for me. I don't think.
Am I like?
But I've also always did everything great.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm proud to say.
I ain't no need to hate.
I'm about to say I'm pretty great. Like, but I will say that the times that I'm thinking is like when people would have a little offhand hating ass comments about like me, like, oh, you shouldn't be anchor leg or not anchor, but lead leg on this relay. You shouldn't do this, and it made me just go harder. Like, show up, just go harder, and be like, yeah, that's what I thought. Like.
It could also be an indication if you have people that you feel like you have to prove yourself for. It could be an indication that those people don't need to be in your network, or that they're not people that you need to even really be in conversation with. People around you, friends, whoever. If you feel like you have to, if you feel like there are people who are like hating on you, also it's like, I don't know. I don't think I really get prioritizing their position. Except I do understand it. Maybe I take that back because I guess it depends on who you value, right? But like if it was certain people or certain family members, or, that's stuff like that. Yeah, then because with family, that's where people really can get caught up in like I need to prove myself. So I'll take that back. Yeah,
I would just challenge like anything that you're doing, just make sure that you're doing it for you. And that might suck, especially like having immigrant parents, the first generation, whatever. Like they think only doctors and lawyers and engineers are great. And so you feel like you have to conform, but you really don't want to look up at the end of your life and just have spent it trying to prove somebody else.
Yeah, but hopefully they're not hating on you. Like hopefully you have supportive people who can believe in the things that you're doing, not hating on you. If you got a lot of haters, also look at what you're saying and how you're acting, because sometimes it's easy to hate on people who be acting a foolie online and, you know, who be saying stupid stuff or trying to start stuff, right? So also, like, as a hater, if you're going to be a professional hater, cool. But, like, as a hater, also don't give in to the people who need that energy of it. Like, I don't know, it's just weird, like, both ways. Some people get hate from people and it sucks and they shouldn't be getting it, and then sometimes people just really revel in that, and I feel like that's what makes like for a toxic environment sometimes with all the back and forth, especially like online.
Yeah, so this week, look at the things that you're doing, how you choose to spend your time. Notice like what comments like and things you're focusing on. Like if you do share on social media, like because our human brains often only focus on the negative, but I challenge y'all to try to not do that. Like look at the positive, look at all the great things people are saying. Like also listen to feedback. Like I'm not telling you be delulu if you're out here like not doing a great job at things, but sit with that and hit us at Carlie's Couch. Let us know, you know, if you actually maybe have a different opinion on proving people wrong or focusing on your haters.
Yep, we'll see you next week.